Not often we get to say this, but there's good news for millions of taxpayers across the U.S.
The Internal Revenue Service is not collecting federal taxes against payments issued in several states last year to offset inflation. Officials announced Friday residents in 17 states, the ones you see there on the map, will not have any taxes collected against state payments or tax refunds and do not need to report them on their returns. Residents of Georgia, Massachusetts, South Carolina, and Virginia also won't have to report their rebate checks as income if they meet certain requirements.
Joining us now is Rebecca Walser. She is the president of Walser Wealth Management. Rebecca, so it sounds like this is great news, and then you hear
for some
the if, right, and for some, and then people all start getting confused and then frustrated again about how we collect taxes in this country. What's driving the IRS's recent decision to offer this relief? And are we right in saying that this is good news?
Yes, it's great news. And I think it's really kind of sad that we even had to wait for this news. And I don't defend the IRS often, but I'm going to defend them here because what they initially did, I mean, obviously tax season opened on January 23rd. We just got this guidance on Friday the 10th. And so that's kind of late, obviously. And they actually were telling people to pause. I mean, 16 million taxpayers in California alone were affected. And they said, wait, pause. And that's not something that's normally done.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm curious. We talked about certain requirements in 4 states to waive income taxes on rebate checks. Let's walk through what those requirements are in those states, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
And just, to clarify, what kinds of payments are these?
Yeah, so we have 17 states that are affected that are not tax refund states, and then we have the 4 states that are affected by the tax refund. So the tax refund states, as you already explicitly mentioned, Georgia, Massachusetts, South Carolina, and Virginia. So if you're a resident in one of these states and you got a tax refund, then you have to go beyond that and say, okay, I got a tax refund. Is it federally taxable? If you filed a standard deduction, then it would not be taxable. Or if you filed and itemized your deductions, but it didn't have an impact on that actual refund, then it would not be deductible. So you probably, if you're in one of those 4 states, you probably do need to, double check with a CPA or a tax accountant and just make sure that you are following the rules. But basically, if you either itemized or you took a standard deduction and the itemization did not affect your taxes, then you would not have to claim the refund in those 4 states. All of the other 17 states, which I think might be actually worth mentioning, what happened with the IRS is that each state had such different parameters. And so the IRS initially tried to undertake reviewing 17 states' different programs. And they just decided this is just too much. It's not going to be fair and consistent across the board, which is something they have to worry about under the 14th Amendment. And so what they basically said, and this is their logic from the IRS, it says for the promotion of the general welfare or as a disaster relief payment, they are going to not recognize this as federally taxable in these 17 states: Alaska, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Maine, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, Oregon, Pennsylvania, and Rhode Island. So a lot of those 17 states had programs specifically related to disaster relief and coronavirus and stimulus payments. And the IRS tried to figure this out, and then they just said, you know what? We're just going to call this general welfare and disaster relief, and that way it will be consistent across the board.
It's so weird to tax on a refund. It doesn't make sense inherently to just keep the difference. Don't, bust my bubble.
Everyone always scratches their heads. All right, Rebecca Walser, thank you.
Thank you.